All right, so I have 42 minutes and 11 seconds of space on this phone that I can talk on this topic of. So recently on my YouTube timeline, I guess that's what we can call it, there's been a resurgence in a topic that I kind of went in on back in like 2018, 2017, around that time. And I think it was 2018 crossing over into 2019, but you know, it's neither here nor there. But I went in on that topic and I'm starting to see a resurgence of it. And I kind of just want to touch on it, you know, because I'm pretty sure if you've been fans of mine for like since my ADS Play 101 channel, which is still up, you guys can go back, you can find those videos. I have a playlist full of them, so it's in there. I kind of touched on those things, and I kind of don't want to touch on them anymore because I said back in 2018 that I wouldn't, and I don't want to go back on. I don't want to go back on my word unless I feel like it's absolutely necessary, and I don't see any reason to go back on that word right now. But the topic at hand was like, you know, these simps, as they call them. I don't know, like we just call them virgins. Like we just call them virgins. We don't call them simps. We just call them virgins and just idiots. That's what we call them. But you know, coming up. But the simps and the e-thoughts, you know, I seen a couple people talking about that. I think it was Low Tier God. I think Mugen Lord, he kind of did. You know, shout out to those guys. My homeboy Mug Tech, Mugetsu Zero, as he goes by on YouTube, and several other people that I'm subscribed to that have it on their timeline, and I'm just seeing it like, dude, like I'm just looking at the videos and I'm like, man, I spoke on this back in 2018 and 2017, back when everything first got started with all that e-simping or whatever the hell they want to terminize, like whatever terminology they want to use to describe it. But basically, let me go explain it like this. So during the early, like when this thing really took off, right? And we give y'all a little bit of history as to when all this really took off, as far as like the internet and all that, the whole e-simping and the whole cam girls going on Twitch and all that other nonsense and all that. And why, you know, it's such an issue, or rather when it first got started, why people like myself and it was a couple other, I think it was one other guy, he kind of like got in trouble and he lost his Twitch channel for a little bit. It was like a white guy. I don't know if he was white or Mexican, but he spoke on it and he lost his channel for a little bit. I can't remember the name of the guy, but yeah, he was one of the first ones to speak on that topic as well. But yeah, so back in like the Justin.tv days, see, a lot of y'all wasn't around for you know, saying like Justin.tv. Now, Justin.tv was the original Twitch. Before Twitch became a thing, Justin.tv was the name of that website. You know, of course, over time, they changed the name to Twitch. I think Justin.tv is still, like, available as its own separate website now, but Justin.tv basically turned into Twitch. And at that time, you know, you had people, like, live streaming and things like that, but it didn't become a thing until, like, people started live streaming video game playthroughs. You know, that's when that became so popular. Eventually, Twitch became the destination for video game playthrough live streams. Now, over time, what happened was, I don't know when, or, well, as far as like when exactly, but over time, you know, people started seeing like the population increase, or like the viewership increase on Twitch, and eventually you start having, you know, females who were live streaming, for lack of better words, or I wouldn't say a lack of better words, to be as accurate as possible, they were live streaming softcore porn. Basically what they was doing, that they would intentionally go to like Twitch live stream, and they would wear these, you know, these booty shorts with their ass hanging out, or they'll wear, or like they would wear a tank top with no bra, basically to, like, you know, make their nipples hard and things like, just to attract the simps out there, to get all the attention away from the people that's actually doing something. And they would try to get donations from people like that. And, you know, and again, I'm trying my best not to speak on this, but I'm already on the road, and I'm kind of like stumbling all over, because I remember when this shit was happening. Hell, even before then, when all that nonsense was going on YouTube, you remember when they had like a bunch of girls, you know, on YouTube, and it seemed like every time you would turn on a video with those girls on it, they always had like their cleave showing a little bit, and they always had the camera up like this. Conveniently, right? All of them had that like that. If you go back and you watch videos from like 2006 to 2000, like, I don't know, from like 2006 to 2007, 2008, 2009, and 2010, during that era of being on YouTube, that was the original, that was like the original foundation of what we're seeing on Twitch today. Because females would be trying to, they wouldn't even be doing anything. They'd probably be talking about makeup or like just some boring ass topic, because none of them was playing video games back then, and I mean none of them. They would just be talking about random ass shit, and just, you know, when you look in the comments, only thing you would see is guys talking about how this girl is trying to show off their breasts low key, and trying to do all these like little sexual things, these little low key sexual things to try to attract the attention of the simps, as we call them, or as they're known. I don't call them that. I just call them what they are: virgins, and guys who don't get none enough to where they need to see things like that. That's interesting to them. You know, or just people that think with their dicks too much, or just guys that just think with their dicks too much. But yeah, that was like the original. I hated that era too. I hated that era on YouTube, because it was just like, her voice broke a little bit, but it was just like for a minute. And the reason why that was a problem too, because you would probably be a guy going to YouTube, or be somebody just going to YouTube, and like, you would be trying to look for like a video game playthrough, or a video on cooking, or a video on, you know, just anything. And the way YouTube was working back then, and I think it kind of still works like that now, but more so back then, where if you get enough likes, or if you get enough people sharing a video, eventually what would happen is that even though you aren't watching those kind of videos, eventually it will show up in your recommended. You're recommended, because the video would be considered liked so much that it's something that the people want to see, and YouTube would promote it on their front page and things like that. And, you know, that was more so of a problem then. It's not like now. You know, some of y'all gotten so used to this YouTube, y'all forget how it was back then. You know, when pages were customizable, and, you know, just things like that. I don't know, man. It was a much more ridiculous time back then. Now it's just considered normal, but to see that rise, and to see how it went from, you know, the girls doing this overhead shot, showing their cleavage, trying to show as much of their breasts as possible, to these cam girls coming to Twitch to try to get donations out of the simps. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's one of them crazy situations where it's just like, damn, this is how far we come as a species, right? Guys, you got to realize that, you know, It's not that hard to talk to people. It's not that hard to talk to the girl next door. Just grab your nuts and go over there and just say something. You ain't got to be online looking at these simple ass girls who ain't doing shit with their lives besides showing titty and begging for money. That's basically all they're doing. They don't have nothing real to offer, so they're sitting there doing squats on fucking on live stream for every fucking new sub, and for a lot of those guys, that's their pornography. A girl in booty shorts doing squats. I kid you not. It was a video on YouTube about that too. I can't remember who made it, but they were basically making fun of like the fact that these dudes were making these girls popular, and they were taking, you know, because Twitch, you know, was basically built on the backs of people live streaming video games. It went from Justin.tv to people live streaming, you know, video games on Twitch. Twitch was built on that very foundation. When all these cam girls started coming in out of nowhere, that's when Twitch made a section called IRL. And that section was basically dedicated to those females, because they would be coming on the website and not, and then when they live stream, you know, you have to put in a certain game or a certain category that your video would be, you know, basically placed as. And when they did that, you know, they would be putting video games that are popular in their category. And of course, they're not playing that video game. They're just trying to get people from the other streams to just come to there, you know, just to watch them talk and be half naked. You know, so that's just how it was back then. So Twitch decided, instead of just getting rid of these people, because they were bringing in a lot of traffic, they were bringing in a lot of site traffic, and you know, Twitch, they're not looking at, they're a business at the end of the day. They want more traffic to come in. So if these type of women are bringing in this type of viewership or bringing in this much traffic, they're going to try to keep that. So instead of just getting rid of it, because in the beginning they did ban a couple of girls that were doing that stuff, but after a while, I guess they seen the benefits of having them on their website, and they literally made a section called IRL, or in real life. That section became dedicated to those type of females, and that happened around like what, 2009. I think that's when that really took off. I don't know. It's just weird seeing how crazy this stuff then turned out, man. I would talk about this stuff more often, but like I said, it don't even interest me, because it's like I know what it is, and it's just like, why speak on it? You know what I mean? It's just, man, we got to do better, man. I would say stop simping, but y'all don't hear me though.